A very good evening to you. At this hour on the business desk, Telkom's financial performance saw significant improvements in the year ended in March. Group revenue increased by 3.3% to 43.88 billion rand, driven by growth in mobile service revenue and fibre-related data revenue. Profit for the year also surged to 7.5 billion rand. That's from last year's 1.88 billion rand. The firm has further declared a final dividend of 163 cents per share, along with a special dividend after a 4-year suspension. Telkom CFO Nonkululeko Dlamini speaks to us about this performance. Thank you so much for your time, Nonkululeko. The group has issued the first dividend payment after a 4-year suspension. Talk us through how you arrived at this point.
Thank you very much, Dumishang, and good afternoon to your viewers. Indeed, it's been a journey of strategy execution, and this is a journey we started about 18 to 24 months ago. At the core of it, it was driving the performance at the back of a data-led strategy. And maybe 2 elements was first to ensure execution of some of the projects that we were driving for quite a while. And one of them has been the finalization of the exit of the SwiftNet as one of the businesses that we had in the stable of Telkom, which has delivered actually cash proceeds of 6.6 billion, which have assisted us to reduce the debt levels in the business to the tune of 4.75 billion, actually making our balance sheet much more robust for future investments and improvement that makes us very comfortable in the net debt to EBITDA, which is one of the measures that we utilize. But secondly, we focus on looking at our non-core assets and exiting those, and we saw a cash inflow from that process as well of about 730 million. That assisted us as well to basically reduce debt throughout the year, even before we got the proceeds from the sale of SwiftNet. But from the sustainable performance that we're looking to grow on and continue with the momentum on, indeed, it's been the performance of our mobile business, where we have seen a significant growth in our data-led strategy and the mobile business showing significant improvement in EBITDA margins. But across the business, we have also been driving a cost optimization program just to make sure that each of our business units are driving cost-optimized revenue growth, and that has actually led us to the results. And indeed, we have gone and with this improvement, we have a dividend resumption, which has got 2 parts to it. At the first instance, we have an ordinary dividend that is coming from the free cash flow that we have produced because we last year reinstated the dividend policy that we would pay out to our shareholders 30% of the free cash flow. But in the second instance, we are declaring a special dividend from the proceeds we received from the sale of SwiftNet to the value of 500 million rands.
Positive gains indeed, but let's also look at the consumer element of financial results for Telkom. Data costs have again been flagged as high in South Africa. How is the company tackling its prices to receive this added advantage in a competitive space of telecommunications?
So the competitive space indeed has resulted in us having to also make sure that we get a share of the consumer in the market space and manage. And the reason we are driving the process of managing costs is to ensure that we can manage the required increases. So the increases may well be required, but they will be driven by the inflationary requirements that we may have to drive. But for all intents and purposes, we are driving our costs to manageable levels so that increases can be not be so high for the consumer that requires the data. And I think that data is the future indeed, because if you look across the board, the utilization of data is quite a significant requirement. And therefore, we would look at increases within reason and manage our costs down as far as possible.
Lastly, looking at the South African economic landscape in telecommunications, what then is the near-term outlook for growth?
We have actually put in a growth mid-term guidance to the market, in that we are anticipating that we'll continue to grow revenue. And yes, the market conditions are quite challenging, but we would expect some level of growth in our revenue. And in the near term, we do expect that the challenges that are facing the customer will be accommodating the growth that we've put and assumed. It is a challenging economic environment, no doubt.
Thank you so much for your input. That is Telkom CFO Nonkululeko Dlamini talking us through the latest financial performance.